Honorable Justice Y. Bhaskar Rao, Lokayukt of Karnataka, my dear friend Mr. P.V. Prabhakar Rao, Shri Prashant Tiwari, Shri Divakar Sethi, Srimati Mandeep Naik, Chairman Udyog Mitra Trust, Bangalore, distinguished invitees and friends. I am really overjoyed to have been introduced this organization Udyog Mitra. This is a very noble idea in helping the building of rural India. If you just read Gandhi a little bit, you will find his major statement, India lives in the villages. Not that I was born in a village, therefore I say so. This is the word of Father of Nation. But India, real India lives in the villages. All these metropolitan towns, no doubt, there is a strong base of everything. There were chartered courts, there were chartered institutions in British India, in the presidency towns. But the fact remains that India won the freedom by the unity of the rural folks. I have seen with my own eyes how Gandhi moved across the country and inspired the nation to join in the quest for truth and non-violence. And that is one of the weapons which is unknown in the rest of the world. The entire European sector, Americans, French, and Russian, the revolutions came by a lot of bloodshed and defiance. But Gandhi was a man who united the common man, and they followed him, and India got the freedom. What he wanted also to build the rural India. But I am conscious of one fact, that whatever the British had left here, the science, technology, education, was very little, affordable to very few. So after independence, it goes to the credit of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru that he built a powerful India. Powerful India, firstly, to bring about unity of minds of India. We were separated. Many writers are writing grossly inhistoric and wrong historic thinking in the press today that he divided India, this man divided India, just throwing people. The division of India was inspired by the British because their policy of repression, policy of divide and rule was followed centuries and centuries until Gandhiji united everybody and he built a secular India. The foundation of our country was on secularism, and that is the foundation we are continuing. Then building a strong and vibrant India. How it happened? I will take you the example of your own state of Karnataka. You just see Mysore. There was a famous engineer, very respectable and very outstanding person, born here, Sir Vishweshwarya. Yesterday, I was invited by the Institute of Engineers, and one of the gentlemen whom we honored was another Vishweshwarya. He was from Vice Chancellor of the Roorkee University, which is the premier university in the northern India in British days. And his achievements are marvelous. I decorated him once in the university, then second time he was conferred life membership fellow of engineers. India, after independence and even before independence, had talent. Sir Vishweshwarya was himself a very talented person in Karnataka. He built this KRS dam totally without use of any outside technology. It's a unique dam. Then he built factories, the soap factory, very famous factory. And then a printing press. He did not send any printing matter outside India. He said, we will do it in irrigation, agriculture, industry. So Mysore became a very outstanding state and benevolent state. And that is what the tradition of the state is. India is a leading state. This Karnataka is a leading state in science. Science Congress is located here. In space and IT, health services and engineering, everything is here. But how to spread it further? How to send it across the masses? That is the question before us. And if you do it, there is an answer to develop India. I cannot say what others say. They say that by 2030, 2020, India will automatically reach the top. In order to go to the top, you have to work hard. Work hard to reach the target which Vivekananda said, Uttista Jagrata, arise and awake. India has to arise and awake. If you want, as young people, you will have to arise, you have to awake and work hard. In my view, in life, there is no substitute of hard work. Hard work leads you to success. And that can be if you are provided means to work hard. Therefore, Udyog Mitra has chosen the right thing. They should provide infrastructure to our young students of engineering, medicine, healthcare, so many other. I have seen so much of talent in the state of Karnataka. If we just harness it. In my own field of law, I have been 16 years the Minister of Law and Justice, 15 years, both in Mr. Bhaskar Rao's father's cabinet. He was my guru almost because he gave me a lot of affection and love. And I respect Mr. Narasimha Rao as one of the greatest scholars in Indian politics. And his gift to the he was the one who started liberalization process in India. And I'll tell you the secret, nobody knows. When he constituted his cabinet, there's unsurmountable difficulties. But he said, I want to have a finance minister of integrity. And Dr. Manmohan Singh was searched out by him. He was earlier in the planning commission. So he took him as his finance minister, and both of them, they started turning around the Indian economy. Our gold was mortgaged with Bank of England, and there was no money to buy petroleum products and other things. So it was they who sat together and brought a turning point in Indian economic history. And today I can read there are billions of dollars of your foreign exchange reserves. Change has come. But real change has not come because things do not go consistently in our country. Political differences are bound to be there in society, but not for the national, not against the national interest. National interest is paramount. The democracy is meant for the people, for their happiness, for their prosperity, not for self-interest. This is the real. The younger generation deserves a better deal. So I personally feel there is a need for initiative from resourceful people in the society to come forward and connect the people with progress. It's not happening so. I have met all these rich people in Karnataka, requested them, except Ajit Premchandji. He is a great philanthropist, let me tell you. He has devoted a very big part of his income to nation building through a university. And he is doing a new kind of faculty building in the university in Karnataka. he has held one convocation where he has changed the very concept of faculty building, and I am sure that when it's a full-fledged work will come, he will provide you wonderful teachers in schools and colleges in rural India. He is sending them all in rural India. I had met the German ministers and ambassadors. We need powerful polytechnics. We don't have at the moment powerful polytechnics. Udyog Mitra should undertake this work. Germans are very keen to give us this technology of upgraded polytechnics. When I was a minister both in National Rawat government as well as Dr. Manmohan Singh, I was one of the ministers in charge of the infrastructure to build new airports, build new highways and all these. I felt one thing, that it is very important to produce more engineers of civil engineer, mechanical engineer and other, because talent is available, but there is nobody to train them as superlative engineers. Today you are an automobile engineer. You are getting the best cars in India, but there is no repair shop of that engineer. There is no mechanics. You need upgraded polytechnics to deal with improved technology. So these training facilities must be available, and I have requested the government of Karnataka, I have requested from one to one. They are prepared to train our universities. I have already sent one of the technical university to go to Germany and receive that training to its professors and others. Once you are trained people, because many people do not know that the economic progress which is come to China, it has not come overnight. They have set out their economic zones in the country, and there they have made it clear to the investors that we will employ our own people within the working of their economic zones, from worker to the manager. So they are trained people working there. Only the capital investment comes from the FDI. So we have also, as a member, I have also allotted 300-400 SEZs in the country. And by very powerful companies, almost every one of worthwhile in the market. They have taken big chunks of land. Almost if you go drive on your highway to airport, you will find SEZ board. But nothing is happening in our SEZ because there is no linkages. If you install an SEZ, money is ready to come to India. You can manufacture the best thing which you can export and employ the people from India, the young generation, engineers and polytechnical engineers and superior engineering. Have your own captive power plant, have your own captive schooling, everything within the SEZ. That has not happened. We have missed the target already. How many years ago we sanctioned the SEZ? But they are not working. This is the requirement that we must implement our policies and train younger generation for employment. It has been very successful in field of law where I was law minister. I opened 23 national law schools besides the one you have got in Bangalore. And 23 national law schools. These 23 national law schools are the best available anywhere. Best faculty, best teachers and best students. All of them who are turned out from this national law school, you can see Bangalore itself, Hyderabad, another, every capital of India, they are sending the best students out of it. And before they come and enroll, they are picked up by law firms. And we are almost exporting lawyers from India because of this younger generation and their training. We have got 23 National Judicial Academies. Justice Bhaskar Rao will bear me out. There were no academies for judges. They were untrained. Appoint them and make them judges. But now every judge will have to go and under training. And Karnataka, they are building just now the Judicial Academy. And one finally, the best National Academy, where American judges are coming to India for orientation and training in Bhopal. So upgradation of knowledge and assistance to the people who cannot afford this by the voluntary organization like Udyog Mitra will connect the country. And that is how this vast country will progress, and light will go to the rural sector only by this way. If you neglect the rural sector and you go on investing in the multiple investment in these metropolitan cities, the result will be what has happened to Bombay, what has happened to Bangalore, what will happen to Madras and Hyderabad. They will become overcrowded and people will rush to cities for everything. So we have to have that kind of a knowledge, and we will have to spread out. And the moment you take this decision, spread out, rural sector will develop automatically. I have roamed about every inch of Europe, America. The rural sector is more prosperous than the urban sector. When you go to France, you love to stay in a village rather than in a big town. So is in Italian. You will get lovely hospitality on a roadside village than in the town. So also in Germany, Switzerland, all these countries, the rural sector has been developed, and people, agriculture community also is very, very rich there, getting all facilities of life. In our country, it is the reverse. Forget rural sector, bring everything in metro. All these unnecessary metros, this and that, they have destroyed your beautiful city of Bengaluru. When I came here 30 years ago, it was a city of gardens, city of neat and clean shopping centers and good restaurants. Now you can't identify even Mahatma Gandhi Road, improper planning. This is the tragedy. So our people in Karnataka are outstanding by all standards already. We can use the younger generation through Udyog Mitra for imparting them training and knowledge where you should go. There should be a good institution for every part of our discipline. So upgradation of knowledge through such organizations and such people will help us quite a lot. We are sending rich people, we can send our children to Harvard or Cambridge or another thing, where the rural people are not missing it. The result is you will find a lot of crime increasing in the rural sector. I have made analysis of major states. Uttar Pradesh, I am just discussing the fate of Uttar Pradesh, one of the best state in the country. Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Odisha, they are wonderful cultured country, but the rural sector was ignored. Now in Naxalite areas, the rural sector was ignored. These were the most peaceful, Jagdalpur, Bastar. I held Lok Adalats in 80s and 90s. And they were very peaceful people converging upon the courts and get their matter settled. But now they are taking up arms. So rural economy should be built through calling their children, giving them good education and training and gainfully employed. This land possession, land holdings have become very small. So all these issues need to be discussed. I entirely agree with Mr. Prashant Tiwari that the state alone cannot do it. The state has got neither the time nor so much of infrastructure, so they will have to outsource this to the NGOs. And role of NGOs, indeed, you have seen when they arise and awake, and the powerful press. Now the press, I think, have much more than ever before, has undertaken a good responsibility of reporting the progress and drawbacks of our polity. So this is a time when younger generation should pick up courage and share the responsibility. What happened when Mahatma Gandhi joined politics after coming from South Africa? There were elder people like Tilak, Lajpat Rai, Gokhale. They are tried by British repression. So he called upon the younger people like Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, Patel, Maulana Azad. Please join freedom movement. And these younger people sacrificed. Jawaharlal was like a prince when he came from Harrow and Cambridge. And when he was sent to jail, he was simply a young man, sacrificed, but Gandhi made him the Prime Minister. You can all lead the country provided you are given, afforded an opportunity to lead. The country needs your services. Country needs inspiration from all young people, boys and girls. Both our girls need much more backing than ever before. We have left a powerful sector of our energy, Shakti, out of the mainstream. Now I am so happy as Chancellor of 27 University here, more girls are coming forward. And you will see the change once these girls are empowered. They will develop. Most of the CEOs of the country, within the country, banking, the women are coming forward. So the result of opportunity. The country can be strong, our economy can be strong. I'm not fascinated by the so-called 4% of GDP or 5% of GDP. It's all temporary. The moment FDI stops, your economy slows down. The moment your market goes down, next day you start shivering. This is no permanent economy. Permanent economy has been built by our farmers, by doubling the food production in the country, by our educationists, engineers. Now we have to see the advanced areas. Now science and technology is a catalyst to progress. We should use that to our advantage. I personally feel this is a good beginning and very fruitful institution which is coming up. How it will be, we plan it out and we will all execute it. I assure you my full support, and I will persuade even the government to help you to connect with young people. I have a bad habit also. I defy the people who do wrong things, whether they are powerful or this. Good things must be encouraged, because everything is at stake today. The fate of the country is now at a very crucial juncture. Either you progress or you perish. India has still not been able to fulfill the WTO services obligation. I saw the statement of the minister. We assure you, the international community, that we will surely achieve the target of service sector. No, you can't neglect your international obligation. You should fulfill. Small thing. In services, you have to develop that skill, and we can compete with the international community. But service sector, we have not yet been able to achieve that, and we have to improve. So country will be built by younger generation now, and we should be ready to support them. And if you do that, you will see another India emerging. Everything should be taken back to villages. Provided you give facilities there. Unfortunately, we have not built our villages, we have not built the rural sector. There is no health care, there is no education. That is the result. Overcrowded city, a lot of disease spreading, then hygiene declining, all these happening like that. So I have taken a lot of your time. But when I see the young people before me, I feel seriously concerned, because I consider they are all my children. I am your first citizen. I have assured the Udyog Mitra, because all they are well-known families, that this is the noblest task. This is the noblest task that one can do in his life. All American institutions, I have gone to major university of the United States in the early 80s. Harvard, Yale, Wisconsin, Berkeley, Los Angeles. All these universities were built by endowments. Yale was built by one solicitor and then developed. They produced 7, 8 presidents of the United States. Why can't we persuade our community to strengthen charitable organization which will empower the rural India? I have requested already Red Cross on so many institutions. They are going back to the people. And this Udyog Mitra will be a great organization with your support. Thank you.
Strengthen young India, strengthen rural India. A need for a perfect connectivity is the call given by His Excellency the Governor of Karnataka, who has indeed showered fatherly affection. Thank you so much, sir, for all those motivating and guiding words. And may I request Mr. Sachin Naik and also Mrs. Madhika Naik to come together and present this token of gratitude and respect to His Excellency, the Governor of Karnataka. Sir, we are indeed blessed to have you here, sir. This was a special moment. Blessings from His Excellency to Mani Prashant Tiwari. Also, a special gift to His Excellency, sweets. Sir, this is a special gift. This is the gajak, the sweets from his native place. Thank you so much for accepting this, sir. Prashant Tiwari, sir, Group Editor, Opinion Express. Thank you so much for all your best wishes. Honorable Lokayukta, Shribai Bhaskara, respected former Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court. Sir, we are indeed blessed to have you here, sir, and thanks a lot for all your inspiring and guiding words, sir. Shri Prabhakar Rao, late Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, whose visionary outlook opened the floodgates of opportunities for India, and we have his representative, the well-wisher, Mr. Prabhakar Rao. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us, and also the scientist with us, who is well-versed in rainwater harvesting, scientist Shri Divakar Shetty. He's always been a guiding force for the entire team. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, heaps and heaps of thanks to all of you for making it happen for us, the media, friends and admirers, and each one of you present here. Thank you once again, and we conclude this event with National Anthem. Thank you. We request all of you to kindly be seated and please make way for His Excellency.
Okay. Thank you.